y'all, and welcome to Skeptic and Ranting. What does hell look like? Looks a lot like Disneyland. Wait, no. That actually looks pretty cool. Well, tonight we are watching a video from the channel Shawn Ryan Clips called What Does Hell Look Like? Arby's. They have the meats. No, once again.
Oh, Arby's. Their turnovers will send you to hell.
I know. Oh, what it is it sends you. It tastes like heaven, but it feels like hell when you're on the toilet. Anyway.
No, they're desserts. They're like cherry and apple turnovers. So they're beyond amazing. Flakiest, most delicious pastry you'll ever.
Can I also point out, I don't know why, I am one of those people that I feel full and I always have room for dessert. Rachel always looks at me like I'm crazy, like you just said you can't eat more. So how can you eat more? But see, dessert is like this metaphorical, magical subcategory of food that you're allowed to add on. That's right.
It doesn't add to any other thing you've already eaten.
I'm playing a lot of...
You made a double bacon cheeseburger for a cop at Wendy's, and then, you know, the Frosty is just it's on top. It doesn't add anything.
Exactly. It really just texturizes. I'm playing a lot of Fallout lately. It's like when it has no weight, so you can just keep on adding it seamlessly. Anyway, what were we saying? Yes, hell. I always love that that's their threat, too. It's really all they have is we are going to torture you after you die. Because they can't get you now.
It's forever.
Yeah, forever. Because, you know, if they're specific, that would also be very funny. In our religion, you go to hell for 2 years and 3 months, specifically. Okay. What do they do to you? They kind of just tickle you. And they don't have the food that you like. It's always your second favorite food.
I was looking into the version of Hinduism's hell the other day, and they've got quite a few of them, actually. They've got like multiple hellish realms that you can go to when you accumulate a massive amount of negative karma.
And I have to say, this is why you have to shop around for the hell that you like. This is clearly why you have to go, you have to leave your hell and check out others. I feel like that's very important.
I mean, the base level hell is you get barely enough food to eat and barely enough water to drink to keep you sustained, and then there's these figures that come by and randomly kick or hit you or beat you whenever they feel like.
And they toy with purgatory. Purgatory is like a flirt because they're like, we're gonna not torture you, but we're not really gonna give you what you want. You're just gonna hang around.
Oh,
am I in agony?
Limbo.
Isn't that what purgatory is kind of? Is this the same?
Well, there could be. They don't. So see, they're very reluctant to actually define it too explicitly, so they could say whatever. But the general consensus is there would be actual suffering in purgatory to some degree.
So once again, it does go back to tickling, and we only have the second favorite dish. Damn it! Yeah. I wanted chicken. Only have fish. That's all right.
But those in hell, that they would gladly have the suffering magnified 1 trillion times if they just had one bit of hope of ever getting out. But that's the thing is that they don't.
In hell, they ask you, do you want chicken or the fish? And you are the chicken or the fish. Little bit different.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter. Okay.
Anyway, we're ranting this early. Yes. So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a hellish good time, spooky even in the summertime. That's right. Thank you for joining us on the InterTubes. I'm pretty sure this is how Mario and Luigi are able to communicate us telepathically. What was I talking about? Welcome to What Does Hell Look Like? Yes, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, at least if you're in this life. If you're in the afterlife, I guess I won't count on you for that. There's always out. I forget which comedian used to bring up that it's like your dad dies and he's been in heaven for past 5 years, and then all of a sudden he gets a ring and he's like, Frank, your wife is about to join you in heaven. She dies tomorrow. And he goes, oh shit, I gotta tell my girlfriend.
Right.
A lot happens in 5 years when you're in heaven. Anyway, TM someone else. Anyway, yes, we are talking hell. This is, I'll keep on saying, it's the only threat they really have.
The other phone call you could get would be, hi, Miss Newman. Yes, I'm calling from HSBC Bank. We haven't received your student loan payment. We now have our new program where we are calling people after their death.
Oh my God. I don't even know. Anyway,
they now follow
right
you
now,
after you
take
die.
A message after the beep.
You can't die and escape your student loans, Miss Newman. We're sorry.
James, I found Gavin.
Yeah.
Iron. I found flat earthers and creationists down here. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh. Woo. And it's Stevie, too. I don't know why.
Otangelo is the head of your IT department, and,
yes.
Bruno Mars in your earpiece all the time.
And that is the funny thing, is that it's such a human concept. It is really whatever you think it is. Because different hells, I mean, there's some people that would be hell for someone. People would be someone's fetish. And so, I don't know. Kind of blurs the line. Humans. But I always ask people who sometimes accuse either us of working for demons or being demons. I always just want to say, I want powers. I think it's bullshit that if we're working for the Underlord of Darkness, that we get things like the desire to want to have sex, which seems to come naturally. It's weird. Satan does work in mysterious ways. Also, I think he plants fossils, but maybe that's a different rabbit trail. He's a busy guy.
He moonlights as a reverse paleontologist.
Indeed. And you know what?
He puts them.
He coaches Little League too. So I just want to point out two things that you. We're talking about hell. Yes, where we're going. What we do, James, we blaspheme. It feels good though, at least while we can. While the religious creationists still haven't taken over. Do. Oh, but our DS founders, at least they put in some safeguards. Once again, fingers crossed. Did you have any gree-grees, James? My last gree-gree, if you don't like a superstition, was like knocking on wood. It's the only thing that I think, and I don't do that anymore. I sure, even that I kind of let go.
I don't think so. I don't really think I do. If I think of any, I'll let you know, but try not to.
I'm the same way. I always Let's see. We are a skeptic-minded channel. However, after we have our point of view and then the opposition view, we generally go to an open mic in which anyone, atheist or theist, liberal or conservative, come as you are, just not on the books. There's tons of real estate. Speaking of which, science doesn't care. That's the great thing, though, is that science isn't really a democracy. It's not really about votes. It's just about proving each other wrong. And yeah, even our smartest can be wrong, like Einstein trying to prove quantum mechanics wrong, only ending up having to admit that it seems to exist. And many ways to support the channel. Oh, wait. First of all, not only that, I keep on forgetting that like icon, like, follow, subscribe. That means that we get to say hi to you because you can see our premieres or join our live streams. Like, oh my goodness. First of all, a $5 super chat coming in from the Sinister Porpoise. Boom, boom, boom. I think my hell probably involves on Tangelo as head of my IT department. So, like, Sinister, I have a project for you. We are going to do a website. We are going to really show how Shroud of Turin is the true path to Jesus. We got this.
And I would like to have a role play.
I want to have a role play. I would like you to set up an AI which only answers questions like, yes, it is true that genes are exactly like a computer.
And gravity have no effect on gas.
Oh my God, I forgot that he flirts with flat Earth.
Yeah. Therefore, a star cannot form with gravity. It have to be held together by God.
Yes, exactly. It's always religious people, I want to say. I'm still waiting for an atheist flat earther. I'm sure it will happen, unfortunately. But we tend to get more skeptics. Anyway, yes, I would hate to see Antangelo be head of the IT department. No offense, my love, Orange Jello. I'm sure you're...
Wherever he is hiding in his
bunker. Wherever you are. Yes,
covered in Bibles. Right. And
I think he's wrapped in that shroud. Or at least the print that he bought on Amazon.
I saw another video. I keep seeing videos about it occasionally. They're still talking about it.
Can you get a blanket that looks like the Shroud of Turin so I can wrap Jesus around me? Oh, I love capitalism. Anyway, what were we talking about? Cyborg. Welcome! Woo! That's right. There are many ways you can support the channel. That you can send out super chats, sending so much love to the Sinister Porpoise. You can join our badge system, our evolving membership down below, along with our emojis. And James, I think I have a new one. I've been hesitant because I've been really having... but you can join right back there. Okay, I'm just going to get into it. But I want some sort of snake emoji that just says, like, the real good guy or told truth or something. Because that fucking snake, it really is the crux of all their stories. That's where it all began with them. And
well, now that you mention him, so tomorrow night, guys, check out on Standing for Truth, Atheist Jr. versus Ken Hoven, fresh from the hospital room from a snake bite that he took. So, send all your prayers out to Ken. For a speedy recovery.
This is not something to be making fun of. That would be petty of me. And
Ken Hoven just got a lesson in rattlesnake venom evolution.
Listen, James, when you don't believe in natural selection, I just want to point out what may or may not happen.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'd like to wonder what the details of that are, how he managed to get bit.
What's the passage? It's not like that passage that says you can tend to them, not right? This is just
in Mark where it says you can pick him up, and I don't know that he's a snake handler or a snake church. I
definitely not
heard about that. So, well, that would be crazy if that was the case. If he went that insane and got into that.
Would be.
Probably just on the property. I don't know if he stepped on it or snuck up on it.
Well, I stand by what I tried to. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I stand by what I said last night, which was he was probably trying to. There are many organs on an organism, but it just seems, Kent is interested in a specific one, and he may have tried without consent to measure a specific organ on said snake.
Amy, the snakes have heavy peens. They're two penises that come out the side.
Oh my!
They're not big, but it is have two.
James, it's not about the size of your multiple penises. It's about how you use your multiple. I feel like that's where the maturity level of our.
Well, snakes can't say scoot over, honey, to the other side, so he's got one on each side. There you go.
It's okay. He'll have a speedy recovery, thanks to science. And
well, I guess since there is a debate, he didn't just take his apricot seeds. He actually went to the hospital. Got anti-venom.
He did something other than pray.
Yeah.
But yes, we also can say hi to everyone because we said like, follow, and subscribe. I said it twice now, YouTube. You can let them go. I didn't even do anything. Anyway, sending so much love to Command Cyborg and Sinister Porpoise and Fenton Molly and Captain Butt and Sven and Tinkle Tink and Darren and Our Dying Son and Swazo, what is up? And Beamsy, woo, and Yuda, woo, and Sandals, everybody. If you keep on saying hi, we'll keep on saying hi. You are right here, Our Dying Son. What is up? Yes, we're sending love to all of you. We are talking about what does hell look like. Also, if you want us to keep reading your comments, you can tag us at James W. or Amy Newman or at Soros's underlings, Satan's underlings. Either or, we subcontract for both. And yes, as well as our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. Maximum shilling achievement achieved. It's there, hey hair, and helps keep up the lights and gets you all sorts of other fun stuff. Did it by getting the, oh my goodness. That's the other thing that I wanted to think of. Yeah, we were making jokes. I saw James saying some good stuff too. That who knows where it bit him on. But if it was
I don't know
evidence,
Cyborg.
If he wanted evidence for evolution or natural selection, I think it would have been right there, biting him on the ass, and he still wouldn't believe. But that is okay.
I mean, the evidence is so profound, so easy to see. If it was a snake, it would have bit him.
What's up, Doctor Who? And yes, though it's hard to tell if he actually doesn't believe, because the thing with him is he's been taught, and I say taught because he's had the best people of the world, as well as, all the random peoples, you and I, but also people that are actually trained in biology, explain these concepts to it, experts. And he either is too dumb to understand it, which I don't think he is. I don't think that he's too dumb. I think he's a swindler, and he does understand it. And I get it. He may still believe in Jesus and all that, and
or he tries very hard to to not understand it, because he tries very hard not to understand it, to tell himself or force himself
bend over
to
backwards,
not get it.
Yes, but creationists, they're almost opposite to presuppositionalists, who I hate with a different type of fire, because at least for the creationists, they're just like, hi, I'm crazy, and this is what it is. And then with presuppositionalists, they're like, no, you're really crazy. You can't even explain why you're not a brain of that, and Christianity can. That makes a lot of sense. And they're almost always pretentious about it.
Hi, this is God TV Radio, and I'm Brett Keane.
He's been talking with AI. I watched his AI video yesterday. The AI is always very polite and gives great answers. That's why I watch it.
And just listening to him like process. Yeah, because an AI won't get frustrated with him and ask him if he's an idiot, but or just messing with him. But
not only that,
listening to him try to respond to, you know, react and to like pure logic or synthesized logic. I don't know.
No, exactly. And he gets, I wouldn't say angry or emotional, but he can get excited, and he can ask questions that would feel like almost digs, and you can feel that it processes it and then kind of says, yes, you're right. Humans can have a bias. However, that doesn't mean that the majority of the AI community has a input bias. And it just, she was very calm.
Oh, wow.
Logical and rational, which is what you would expect from an AI.
God? What is he saying? AI is biased against God or religion?
I'm trying to think if he even got towards that part. I'm sure he got to it, because he's talked with this person a few times. And from the parts that I had, she was just giving, because he was almost just really attacking who AI. She was and how biased her answers could be.
It's a feminine AI.
It is a feminine AI, which once again gets to choose on the, can change the dials, but I thought she was giving very good answers for everything that he had to ask. And so I hope that he comes over to Not God TV Radio one day. Still sending love to you, Brett. And to, you know, all my creationist brothers, sisters out there. You all have a home here, just as all I care about is people being skeptics. Because that's more top level than atheism. Speaking of which, we'll give our shout outs, and then we'll go into the opposition viewpoint. It's an interesting viewpoint from, you know, it's really goes into detail about one guy's story, but it's always that classic, well, they were an atheist, and then we love those.
Yeah. I used to be an atheist. Like yes. Brett Keane used to be an atheist.
Well, that's why I always want to know where people's skeptics. Because the hate, I still see him put up anti-evolution stuff that is basically trickle down Kentonomics. And so, yes. And so, and I really get annoyed at the both, as someone who I can rarely go, this is my expertise, but as someone who teaches at the graduate level a class on how to make well communicatable charts, the fact that he'll sit there and put up very decent evolutionary graphs that you will find in any middle school science textbook and go, you believe this? Yes. Yeah, they couldn't fit every single animal and teach that to an 8th grader. You're right. They had to go like single cell, then they had to go multicellular, and then they had to go plant, fungi, animal. They I always forget the last one.
Archaea? No.
Yeah. But yes, yeah. I mean, like,
no,
and the oh no, continue.
there's 128,000 generations between humans and Lucy, and I need to see all 128,000 of them in a row. See the evolution, then I'll believe it. If you can't show me that, well, then I'm going to believe in Jesus.
It's just like, and that's the other thing. Yeah, and then we're going to believe that magic exists. If you can't show me, if you can only show me the trail of facts that we have, but not every single fossil, even though there's no such thing, transitional fossil, we're all transitional fossils. We make a map going back in time.
Well, we were we were in the even of all places, the Kimball side chat the other day, and people were saying like, oh, I saw the X and X on Joe Rogan. They're talking about a worldwide flood, and they have evidence of a flood all over the world. Like, well, you can be pretty sure that every part of the world has been flooded at one time or another, just not all at the same time.
Not at the same time. Local floods, absolutely. Global floods, no. Just didn't happen.
I know. Negative.
If you believe differently, show us a source. They hate that phrase. They hate.
Oh, but there's the Missoula flood in the U.S. Well, yes, yeah, there is a Missoula flood, and it created very unique, very identifiable features that we don't find all over the world. We don't find them all over the world. We find them there, a few other spots, but not all over.
There's also cultures that have flood myths that are global floods, and then there are flood myths that are local floods, and then myths that don't seem to have any cultures that don't have any flood myths within them at all, because they live far away from water. But, you know.
But these cultures were not global cult. They didn't have access to the whole world, so how would they have known that the whole world?
And it's true. Even though God's everywhere, he's kind of. I'm going to say this. Well, I guess once again, are censors watching us? Is NBC gonna? I was going to say, but he's kind of a pussy, so can't really do anything. And I get a lot of shit for this. He's not any of the Omnis, and I keep on saying he is not any of the Omnis. Like, he can't do any of that. I know, and they have inherent contradictions when you try to mix them together. But if you can't lift a Gatorade bottle, I'm sorry, if you can't lift a generic who knows what brand this is bottle that's filled with electrolytes, then how are you going to say that you are all powerful? And they're always like, well, he just doesn't want to. He's not your bitch. You're his. Okay, well, is time really the concern? He just doesn't have time? Well, that's actually one of the Omnis, now that you say, so maybe we should just clear that off. And so God, not being able to do anything but play hide-and-seek world champ day in and day out, seems to co-align kind of just the same as a God that wouldn't exist. What a weird coincidence. Yes, shout outs. Actually, I'm going to take a sip. Give me 1 second. Okay, that was longer than a second. That was multiple seconds. But sending love out to Azo, reminding us that we have a Skeptic and Ranting community. Please come join it. We're offering an alternative to religion or whatever it is that you were that had. They always get insulted when we use the C word. There are many C words, apparently, but cult. And
I let him get insulted.
If the shoe fits, right? And they are taking orders from leaders that are presumed dead. I know that their people in the religion don't think that they're dead, but, you know, everyone else.
If Jesus was real, then he started a cult.
Yes.
If he did exist.
James, anyone who says that if you want to join me, all you need to do is sell all your belongings, leave your family, and follow me, probably has been putting pills in your drinks. But okay.
No, if you want to be worthy of me, you need to hate your family. Hate the ones you love. You should love only me.
And sell all your shit. Don't need any of that.
You won't need it. You won't need it.
Wait here. Not a cult leader, though. That's what I like about it.
No, then you can die and go to heaven and spend eternity telling me how great I am.
These people also are up in arms about they're like, I'm not a slave to the government. And then oftentimes they will call themselves, well, I'm a slave of God.
A slave to Christ.
That's kind of creepy. Yeah. Slave to Christ. Do you get
Amy calls herself a slave to cock.
I was gonna say I would be open to that if he was like into like positive BDSM relationships. So maybe let's get him down here. I'll see, maybe I'll call him Daddy. I'm not really into Heavenly Father or Dada, but we heard many variants. We can get whatever he's into as long as he can physically get down here. Because James, you know what's crazy about personal relationships? I am into them being like physically real. I don't know. What about you?
You prefer the realism, the element of realism?
Real. I know once again it feels like I'm putting a bar that may be above many people's standards.
You're not just imagining the dick in your ass. That's it's actually really there.
Yes. I'm big on when I go to Olive Garden and I'm sitting at the chair and there is just, the waiter comes by and they say, who is eating tonight? And I say, well, it's me. And then I point to the empty seat and I say, we are going to be sharing a,
me and Esmeralda.
Yes. But I mean, James, isn't she beautiful? Do you not understand? Doesn't she have like the most gorgeous eyes?
She's really been on a diet. She
has.
Yeah.
Her figure has been, she tried to tan because, she was looking a little bit see-through, but.
And knowing you, when you go to the movies, you probably go there just as much for the popcorn and candy as you do the movie itself.
You have no idea. James, I bring a blanket, and if you saw my purse, and forgive me, whichever insert movie theater that I am, okay? I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, but I basically bring full meals. Now, listen, I get a lot of popcorn. I get a lot of your Slurpees. You get a lot of money at me. But I am bringing basically a full chicken dinner, probably soda. I'm treating it like my house, but you're getting money out of me. You'll be fine. You'll be okay, James.
Well, it'd be a way for you could take Esmeralda to the movies, and that way you can get 2 popcorns, 2 sodas, and spend $40 at the concession stand. But it won't look like it's just for you. They're like, oh,
it's true. And
she's just crazy. Popcorn. She's just crazy. She's, don't mind her.
Oh. It's always great when I just have to have 2 seats and someone tries to sit down. I'm like, excuse me, you're trying to sit on my girlfriend. Which she always thinks is funny. But, I'm always upset.
She doesn't get offended by it.
She doesn't get offended. What are we talking about? The Skeptic Ranting community. Anyway, so he said love to Chris Disciple. Thank you so much, Chris. We do have theists in the Skeptic and Ranting community, Christians and Muslims and Jews and Hindus and whatever it is that James and I probably don't agree. But listen, we like that you're here and that I am queer. I have to at least say that, specifically the Soros part of the contract. It's weird. But yes, thank you so much, Chris Disciple. And so much love to Rachel Holen. Speaking of Soros, reminding you that it's okay to own a femboy, even your own, put a collar and a leash around him. Just don't go to the nations around you and kill all the men and take the women and children for your own. that comes from the objectively good morality of religion. I know it's just one religion, but it's a popular one. It's the Coke right now. And to be honest with you, the Coke and the Pepsi of religion, both kind of dicks, not really fans. And I get it. I don't want them. And that's the hard line.
RC Cola or the store brand cola.
Yes. Yeah, not. We're going to have to go. We're going to have to find a just drink water. The hard line is, yes, I'm always going to be side the liberal hippie, whatever, secular, pluralistic, whatever. I'm always going to defend the minority group if they're being picked on, because that's what it means to have a secular society, that you don't want anyone to be picked on. Does that mean that their fundamentalist beliefs of those religions that I'm often defending are decent, moral, or in any way the truth? No, that's why we do what we do. And so it's walking both of those lines. It's knowing that Moses didn't exist, Jesus didn't come back from the dead, and Muhammad did not cut the moon, and still being able to be decent to the guy at the counter. It's really actually
even if they want to kill you for making the statement you just
made. Yes. Well, and James, it is. That's the truth. I always say that's the weird thing. You want to hold a dangerous ideology, be a pacifist. Just look at the people that they have shot with through the head the past few hundred years, even thousands of years, if you want to go back to their Christian guy. Just the pacifists. Not really good outturn. Anyway, that's okay. I'm sure Abraham Lincoln will be fine at that play. He didn't wear a coat, but I'm pretty sure everything else will be fine. Same with Martin Luther King Jr. And Malcolm X after he stopped being a racist. That's what I mean. Becoming not an asshole. One of the, apparently, Gandhi. Being a decent person. Very dangerous, apparently. So protect yourself. Sorry. Once again, I forget what I was talking about. This was my hippie rant for the day. Kumbaya. Fight a lighter. But what I'm saying is,
Kumbaya,
very
suck
peaceful,
Kumbaya.
They may have the same that you. It's okay. Keep on being peaceful and protesting. All right. If I keep on doing this long enough, my hair is gonna turn blue. I'm sorry. What?
Start talking, singing Kumbaya.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna talk with him soon. The hard thing is it's hard to prepare for him because I get nauseous listening to him. I really do. I hate it when people are mean to other people like that. And it's fun when there's people like Tom Rabbit who can just completely shut him down or just completely troll him. But I dislike it when he talks with honest interlocutors that maybe they're not experts in debate, but they're trying to give their best answers. You can tell, and he still berates them, and it just makes me want to join that channel and just tear him apart verbally. There are few people that just makes my skin boil, but I always feel like their tactic is just to make people feel dumb. Unexpectedly asking questions that most people may not have answers for, and generally, if you think about them, they have oftentimes obvious answer, like the intelligibility. You say, well, what makes your reality intelligible? And most people, in line at Wendy's are like, holy shit, well, I've never thought about that. What makes us intelligible? And I'll have a 5 for 5. And so, yeah, but when you think about it, it's not Jesus, it's our brain. What makes things able to be coherent within our minds? Well, it's the physical brains and the neurons that seem to be operating and giving us conscious thought. It doesn't tend to be Jesus. Focus. Exactly.
You're talking about the hardware, Newman, the software of it, the mind. Only Jesus makes the mind.
Yeah, only Jesus
able to make sense of society, of the world around it.
But then, did we have minds before Jesus, or were they just like rolling around?
Yes.
I also asked them why it can't be the Mother, Son, and Holy Ghost. It's got to be a dad. It's got to be a father. And they're always like, and the response I go is like, well, you need a dad to have a baby, right? It's like, I feel like you're forgetting 50% of an equation here. But okay. What are we talking about? Anyway, sending so much love out to Rachel and davegar, reminding us that the Earth is round and it is 4.5 billion years old. I hate that we have to call ourselves the old Earthers because it's how you look at things. Yes, 4.5 billion is old to us. 13.8 billion years as the universe is old to us. But how old the universe is going to be within the future? Oh my, we have just begun. The universe has only been here for a few generations of stars. It's going to be happening many generations. We're only like a second and third generation supernova and solar system, which, okay, that's cool. We're not the first generation. There has been a first, and yet
I think the star formation phase of the universe could last up to 100 trillion years. And that's just when stars are being actively formed. That's not even like the black hole era where the stars are slowly dying.
Yes. And so we really are a baby universe. And so just to think the 6,000 to 10,000-year-old model, and that's another apologetic. There, you have to say both of those numbers because sometimes I'll get, 6,000 years old is ridiculous. It's 10,000. Oh, I'm sorry. Then it stops being ridiculous. No, that's just as ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you say thousands of years, it's ridiculous. Humans are hundreds of thousands of years old. And the other thing which just annoys me is you're an ape. I'm not an ape. You may be an ape, James, but I'm not an ape. I'm not flinging mud and feces everywhere. I'm a sophisticated human that uses a bib when I eat ribs. You have to understand, when I drink wine, I have my finger out. So I'm not an ape. This makes sense. And I always ask them, I go down the mammal analogy, which they always seem to understand intuitively, and then it all just crumbles when I try and translate it back. And they go, well, of course we're mammals. I'm fuzzy. And then I say, okay, mammal and human. Do you understand how you're both of those things? Okay, mammal, primate, human. No, it can't be. It's that that middle.
No, not an ape. Sorry.
Not an ape. Not you. I put pants on. Great lady. I put pants on too. We're both apes. And I don't, once again, whatever creationist is in front of you. Oh my. It's silly. Thank you, davegar. And our girl deck level sending so much love to Rejos, reminding us we have a Skeptic Bible study. Oh my goodness. Where it's only 2 parts. Exposition, where God is just explaining characters that never existed in great detail. Oftentimes, even more fun, lots of names with very little detail. Oh, good. Now we know 62 Dukes' names. This is good, James. We should know this so we can say, whenever we're at someone's, celebration or retirement party, we can name the 62 Dukes. Goes over great. And or murder. That's the other one. So sometimes we like it when the Bible's boring, because as long as things are being boring, no one's getting murdered. And, you know, at a 50-50 ratio, you kind of just enjoy the boring up until everyone's head is gone. So, but that's okay. The women and children are yours. Remember, once again, objectively. Oh, but that's just the Old Testament. Oh, that's good. We don't have to follow the 10 Commandments anymore. Well, I mean, come on now. Even Jesus was like, who doesn't love me? A list. James, humans are sluts for lists. We'll do anything on it.
That's absolutely true. We are.
Having love lacks with lilies to Ian Davenport, reminding us that apologetic arguments
got
suck.
Bree out there. Good to see you, Bree.
What's up, Bree? Bree was just doing an episode. You should all just check out Bree's latest episode. Hot Mart. Oh my goodness, I need to show Bree. I have fantastic specimens that I did with my class the other day. Hold on 1 second. I'm a nerd. I spent way too much money on my class for this, but it's biodiversity unit, and so they're studying both plant life and insects and things like this. I got 2 sets. I'll show you guys the first one. That spent way too much money on this. I'll start off with well, that's still interesting, but of course, and let me see the camera, so make sure we have, you know, our lovely plant cells here, and of course we have our lovely flowers. But what I find even more interesting, and you know, they really seem to enjoy, was both the beautiful butterfly, always fun to look at, and then the creepy crawly, good for asking how many legs are on an insect, and then what are those 2 things on the top of their head. So we talked about antenna.
Well, you know, the insects, the penis grows on top of the head.
That's right. James, we were talking about 2 penises earlier. I'm pretty sure that's isn't it, basically? Pretty sure.
It grows on top of the head.
That's right.
I wish I had an extra one on top of my head.
James, I like to think that with enough money that we can make this happen. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yes, what does hell look like? I think this whole episode is what Christians think hell looks like. That is okay. What is up, Spooky Mid Hair? What is up, God equals square root of -1, and everybody in there. I saw someone else and then I lost it. That's okay. Native Atheist, what's up? What is up, everybody? We are. I'm gonna be right back 1 second, and then we're going to do the opposition viewpoint. We are talking about what does hell look like, and my question, James, and I'll actually have one more thing to say, but it'll be very short. Basically, just a joke, if anything, when I come back. But James, when you were religious, what did hell look like to you? Or did it look like anything at all?
Yeah, it would have just been the standard Christian version of it. Just a really nasty, hot place. But anyhow, how's everybody doing? Found this video this week. This is the channel actually has once in a while some interesting stuff on it, but found this clip was a clip about hell. Former atheist claiming to be having experience in hell. And I believe I've heard an experience similar to this a while ago. So this is the story. This thing has been out for quite a while. I'm assuming it's the same one. I mean, unless they're just copying each other at this point, barely changing anything. But yeah, let's see what they actually believe, what they think about this hell. Of course, why does there have to be a hell in the first place? Is there a good reason for there to be a hell? No, not really. They tell us all the time that God respects free will, and he only wants people to worship him who want to, who love him. Yet he creates this realm where people who don't want to worship him will be tortured forever. So I mean, basically, he gives you a choice, but he's not coercing you. He's not forcing you to worship him. You can either choose to worship him, or you can choose to burn forever. But make your choice, right? Hey, it's not he's not forcing you or anything. He wouldn't do that because he respects your free will. He respects your freedom of thought, freedom of belief. Well, actually, no, he doesn't respect those, but. The thing is, in this thing, we don't even get the choice not to play the game. As soon as we're basically born and able to comprehend language, as soon as we're... Oh, hey, Spooky. Hope you're doing all right, Spooky. 200 subs, hey, congrats on that. It's an accomplishment, I'll tell you. But as soon as we're born, able to comprehend language and able to... understand anything, we're sat down and they give us the pitch like, okay, there's something you need to know. There's this God guy, and he really loves you, and you have to believe in him, and Jesus died for you, and everything you've ever done bad, but we can't give you evidence of that. We can't show it to you. We can't prove it to you, but we can tell you that it's really, really true. And you better believe it. Otherwise, because if you don't believe it, well, when you die, you'll go to a really bad place. It's hot, and you'll be burning forever. I mean, with choices like those, yeah, who even needs a Satan at that point, right? Who even needs a Satan at that point? Because anyway, even the version this story puts it out, Satan's just on the payroll. The demons doing the Lord's work. They're out making sure people suffer, which is what they're supposed to do in hell, right? They're like the Rurus in Hinduism, who are tasked with making one of their hellish realms a little bit more miserable for the souls that are there. Even though the place was supposedly built for them, set up for them, apparently they're not going to be suffering as much as we are there. Go figure, huh? But the whole concept of this hell place, the whole concept of this hell is, isn't the pitch of heaven? Isn't the carrot good enough? We need this stick of this penalty for not choosing it, and that's because imagine if God said, hey guys, what I mean, I made you for this. What I would like you to do is I would like you to want to come to heaven and to worship me forever, to spend eternity devoting yourself to telling me how great I am and how much you love me, and your whole existence is to glorify me. That's what I want for you. But don't worry, I'll make it so you will love every second of it. There's nothing you would ever even think about doing. You will be as happy as a pig in shit doing it. You'll love it. You'll love every moment of it. So don't worry about that. It won't get boring. It'll always be fun and exciting, and we'll all just be happy forever. But if you don't want to do that, well, I mean, I guess if you want to go somewhere else and do your own thing and whatever, that's okay too. Under those terms, how many of them would choose the heaven route and choose to be a mindless zombie, mindlessly praising God because you're programmed to do that and love it? And the answer is, truthfully, most of them wouldn't even want to go. They would rather you could find something better to do given the option. So they don't get that option. That never mind. That's not on the table. You either worship me or burn. And I mean, under those terms, well, hey, guess everybody better sign up to the worship part, right? Got food in the skillet. Didn't realize they would be gone this long. Anyway, guys, yeah, Amy's actually going to be out of school in about a week. Her school year is going to end, so we should actually be able to be broadcasting at a little bit of a higher rate than we do now. Yeah. What are you thinking?
Could not agree more. I am excited for summer. My kids have been great. It has been a fun year. However, I'm also excited for my first summer in a long time anyway. And all right. So the last thing I will say before we get into the opposition viewpoint. Ooh, thank you so much, Spooky. I forgot. Sending love out to multiple locations. First of all, here is our Amy Newman Skeptic Twitch. And surprisingly, I have some people on X. So I'm sending love to people over there.
Why is that so surprising?
Well, I didn't think that streaming on X would be popular, but sending love to, we did it because it was one of the options. And so, exactly, StreamYard, sending love out to StreamYard, but StreamYard lets us stream. We're on Facebook if you want to head over there with the Skeptic Ranting Facebook page at x.com/Amy Newman tweets, at twitch.tv/Amy Newman Skeptic. There may be a theme in there. Sending love to everybody, no matter what you're watching. But this is the last thing that I will say until we get into the opposition viewpoint is I have to say this once a podcast, I have had a near-death experience myself. Now, I don't think the religious people would consider it a near-death experience because when they meet a near-death experience, they means your consciousness goes and does some shit. I mean, I almost died. In that I had a seizure on I-95. And that was just me driving. And as my mom jokes, I'm kind of a cowgirl when it comes to driving. So I'm pretty sure I was going fast and woke up in a hospital bed. Okay. With nothing more than stitches in my eye, in my eyebrow. And so thank you, seatbelts. Is really wasn't God who was doing the hard lifting there. But I'm not sure if they would call that a near-death experience because I don't remember anything. There was no light or there was darkness, but it wasn't like the flame grill. It was like you're here and then you're there. More like teleporting. And so, yes.
Have you ever been bitten by a venomous snake, though?
Well, I did this one time. I was trying to measure. You see, me and the snake, we had a relationship, and I was just trying to measure to see, and that's okay. So what's up, Maya? Boo. Sending love also to her channel and all her content that you should be checking out. But speaking of checking out, let's go to our opposition viewpoint. And I guess I just bring that up because they skip those near-death experiences, I think, where we often just have, times where we almost die, and yet we don't really have any supernatural, or I think it's more a hallucinatory experience because your brain is malfunctioning. And they seem to count the ones that are, and so it's kind of the sharpshooter fallacy. Ooh, Davegar says I'm an ND survivor too. Shock and loss of blood. Yeah. The best I can describe it was being confused, pain, and the icy hand of death at my back. And that is odd to be poetic in an extreme situation. Ooh. Well, Davegar, we're just happy to have you here. And yeah, I find that these type of situations, they time to discount, and the ones where it's either plainly an agent of good or plainly an agent of bad, they tend to count, and they go, there you go. There's evidence of heaven, hell, God. But let's talk it enough crap, I guess. Hold on one second while we get...
Where did I hear before? Actually, another story of a guy who was bit by a rattlesnake. This is years ago, and he said as long as I'm awake, I'm not dead, right? So just try to stay awake.
That is true.
This was that was a really bad envenomation, that one, because it probably hit into one of the veins, arteries. So he actually collapsed and was not able to walk. Had somebody with him, but not able to carry him or anything. So just had to wait for the paramedics to arrive.
See, I like snakes. I'm not afraid of them. However, depending on the species, I know that you should definitely be more cautious, and the higher up, depending, the more you should lean into an expert handling it.
This is just a walk in the woods and an encounter with a random rattlesnake, not like intentionally handling them.
James, I actually have an antidote to that rattlesnake right here. It's in this book. Yeah. It's actually a good book. It says that we're going to be just fine. But okay, let's get into it. We're going to apparently imagine heaven. That's the book that he's hawking back there. And we're going to talk about what hell looks like.
He's in he calls it a darkness that's darker than black. And I've heard people commonly say that. Jesus called it the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, meaning like just, I don't know, I guess just horrific.
Oh, he's on coke.
And that's really what he experienced. Near-death experiencers are reticent to come forward because this is a sacred experience that is hard to describe in our three-dimensional terms. So they don't.
I also like that he's about to set up like a statistic. And the first time I heard this, I was like, oh, this almost, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to sound more sciencey, but the actual statistic
don't often come forward.
Increase the flashboard noise and put up more science.
But even of those who have come forward, 23%, according to one study, came forward talking about having a hellish experience.
Ooh, so they're breaking down people in near-death experiences, and 23% have really bad ones. Okay, once again, he's just breaking down how people have experienced them, but that's not really evidence for them being true.
I mean, you have good dreams and you have bad dreams, right?
Yes, exactly.
To some degree or another. And so these are common. This 2019 European Academy of Neurology.
Oh, he said the word neurology.
Did a study across 35 countries, found that 5% of the population, or 1 out of 20, claims to have had a near-death experience.
Okay.
But they also found an even greater percentage that had hellish experiences.
So a greater percentage. So 20 of people have had an experience, but even more of them had a hellish near-death experience. How does that work? How does that work?
And I also want to ask, if 85% of people have a bad experience dying, does that mean that there is a hell? No. Like, that doesn't make it true. You're just taking an estimate, a survey of what people feel about a situation.
What did the survey say?
Or negative experiences. So you got to make sense of these as well. You know, interestingly, Jesus talked about hell a lot.
Nice bar, by the way, while we're talking about Jesus. I just want to point that out. I'm sorry. It is a backhanded compliment, a little passive aggressive, you know, but
I got some absolute vodka back there. It looks like Belvedere vodka.
The kind Jesus would want.
As something real. But not as a scare tactic. I think it's more as a look. This is reality, and what he came to do.
No, it's a
scare the shit out of you.
That no one would go there, but some do in their near-death experience. So
no one would go there, but some do. That was the statement. Can we just appreciate that? No one goes there.
Well, it's not that Jesus' fault. I mean, yeah, he made it. He set the rules up, but it's not his fault.
I also often think, like, if you're the demon that got to torture Jesus, that's got to be pretty cool, right? You're just Norse, you know.
Oh no, they wouldn't have
torturing
Jesus.
Normal people every day, but now you get to torture Jesus for 3 days. The Son of God gets to be your bitch, and not only that, you have to do it so that he can reign in heaven. Well, I guess it's time to open up our sodomite machine. Sorry, Jesus. It's mandatory. At least that's what God said.
So, for instance, I interviewed this atheist college professor, tenured college.
I love that because, first of all,
always an atheist. Yeah,
we get used as a benchmark. We were just talking about how we always are like, not even an atheist, they often say when they're criticizing each other. But then we get looked at as we are consistently wearing both glasses and a lab coat at all times, James. That is what it means to be an atheist. So I am glad that he was talking to an atheist. Holy shit, was he and he was a college professor. So once again, as always. Oh my goodness.
College professor who was he was an art professor who was doing a tour with students in Europe, in France.
Kinky.
And his lower duodenum ruptured. You usually have like 5 to 6 hours before you're dead because you're.
Can I just point out, because I've watched this twice now, and I think the cat wants to be let in, but he's going to start to talk about a punctured rupture, and he never really explains why, except for the magical answer that he gets better. Can I just, not the spoiler alert, but I'm eventually going to say, and this is where the science happens, and he never really says that. It's just assumed that it was Jesus. But, you know, we'll keep on going. Spoiler. Rupture. Gotcha.
Spilling all that junk into your cavity.
His what ruptured? His duodenum. I just made that up. Something. Not good.
And it was a weekend, so they couldn't find a surgeon in France. And after 8 hours, he died. Now,
wait. he's telling you this story. And I love that he's just like, and then he died. Or wait, no, get this. And then he didn't die. And then he just started to hallucinate a whole bunch of shit that you're about to explain to us. Because, spoiler alert again, he can't be telling you the story if he died. But okay, continue.
He thought when you die,
Holy
it's
Spirit
just unplug the computer, screen goes blank, there's nothing.
And that's probably true, which is why, once again, he's not dead.
And that's not what happened. And instead,
because he's not dead.
He was standing there by his bed. He felt the worst he had ever felt in his life. And suddenly he felt wonderful. And he doesn't even know he's dead. Like he doesn't realize.
Morphine hit.
I know this is like a hot take, but like, could it be? Not that I might have said this. I might have said this once or twice before. Is it because he's not dead?
Realize he's dead because he's sitting there thinking something happened. I feel wonderful, and he feels these new senses. This group of people then come into the hallway, and he can see them in the hallway.
It's like, doctor, give me the news. Oh, that's right. Science is not going to enter, so let's keep on going.
They're calling to him, Howard, come with us.
Oh my!
And he said, I'm sick. I need a surgeon. You know, that's what he's been waiting for. And they said, oh, we know all about you. Come with us. Don't you want us to help you? We're going to help you.
Come on, baby. We know all about you. We know you love margaritas with that little bit of sugar instead of salt. Come on.
We can even make it strawberry.
I know. We can make all sorts of flavors.
We've been waiting a long time. Come with us. Okay, so
how long?
Time out.
A long time. No, I want to know how long. Fine. We've been waiting 35 years and 75 days. That was the last time you cheated on your wife. Shit.
These random voices are calling to him. He's like, oh, I mean, okay, I guess. Fuck the doctor.
Yes. Once again, while he was dead, I'm pretty sure this is all happening. Right.
Now, I like to point out
what would you like
that not every near-death experience is as deep as others. Like,
I just like to isolate that because I always find that a funny statement. Because it sounds like he's being like, listen, we get it. There's going to be some people out there trying to shove crystals up your hoo-hoo. We're trying to shove Jesus up your hoo-hoo. Completely different, and you're going to have to, unfortunately, spread wider.
Like meaning all the elements. So some just there's an out-of-body experience and they're back in. Okay. Those can be interpreted in a million ways.
Yes, that's what you're doing right here.
Right? A million worldviews can wrap around that.
But wait a minute. So if everybody goes to either like heaven or hell, then why do they have these nondescript experiences? Why wouldn't they either go with Jesus or be with the demons?
My partner had a near-death experience saving our puppers from getting hit on the road. Had nothing. So I feel like they throw out any of the near-death experiences that have no agency, and then they look at these examples
or
and they're like, well,
near-death experiences from India where they go meet Krishna, or in Saudi Arabia where they see Muhammad.
Well, it's always a coincidence. You never have them do like cross religious experiences unless it's some of them are backwards compatible, but like the Islamic Jesus is a little bit different than the Christian Jesus. One is a main character and one is more like a side quest.
Well, I've only ever heard the ones where I was an atheist and then I went to the Christian hell, and I was so surprised to find out Christianity was true. And then I've heard the ones like, but I've never heard like, oh, I was a Muslim and I went to the Christian hell and I was surprised to find out Christianity was the right religion. I never heard that.
Whoopsie. They always find it also in moments of deep sadness. You never say, I was just at my peak happiness and I found God. It was just always, I was at my lowest. I was basically blowing hookers and cocaine, And that tends to be where Jesus is. So if you do want to find Jesus, I feel like there's actually a guide, James.
He's at the end of a long line of cocaine.
Apparently.
Had at this point come back to his body and been resuscitated.
Wait. Okay. So maybe he didn't go away. It was just the brain breaking down and his mind trying to deal with the terrible events that were happening.
His interpretation probably would have been, hey, it's all good. Atheists go to heaven. It feels great.
Oh, I like this. This is the other thing. Well, this is that confuses me, James. And he goes, and it would have been great if he was resuscitated. And then he's about to talk about why he wasn't resuscitated, which confuses me because are you talking to a ghost then? Because I'm pretty sure the end of the story is yes, he is resuscitated. Yeah. Okay.
Nice people. Everything's good. But that's not what happened.
No, he wasn't resuscitated.
So he starts to follow these people. And again, time and even distance, it doesn't work the same on the other side.
Or when you're hallucinating or dreaming.
Yeah, when you're dreaming.
Which I don't fully understand that, except that by analogy.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I like how he's like, I don't fully understand it, but I am going to say it, endorse it, and just put it out there. Well, you're right. Yes, he does.
You know, think
Make
about
that into a rectal suppository.
You know, from here to Austin, Texas, where I live, Nashville to Austin, it's a long way, right? It's a 2-hour flight. But what if I could think it and be there? How far is it now?
What does that mean? Once again, I keep on hearing this. He's basically talking about teleporting.
Well, they're still walking down the hallway with these guys. They're not teleporting. So what
I know. Yeah, I don't get it either.
Not like, okay, poof, you're in hell. No, you've got to walk down the corridors of this hospital.
Yeah, we're following these shady figures that apparently we do when we're dead.
And he said, okay, fuck the doctor. I guess I'll just go with these guys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, distance doesn't mean the same thing. So on the other side, so he couldn't tell, and he follows these people, and he starts to realize they're deceiving him. They're starting to mock him.
I like this because once again, I want to know what it was they were doing. Were they just walking around and then they just turned and they're like, "You're a sissy. Look at you. You're not even that tall. What were your grades in school? Do you even lift? Wow. Does your mom, is she even proud of you?" Like, well, what are they talking about right now?
They know you only have 4 inches.
Cursing him. They're all these.
Such a naughty boy. So naughty.
You know, and he starts to realize this is not good.
Oh my goodness, this is not the strip club that I wanted to go into.
These aren't
the then he realizes he's in this darkness, and it keeps getting darker, and he tries to say, hey, I want to go back, and they're like,
wait, all right. Alternative scenario. He's actually in a bar, and he's just really drunk. I feel like both of those scenarios explain what is going on equally well.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. And they start pushing and shoving, and he's in he calls it a darkness.
Also, I like how demons are just being just like, once again, a little bit passive aggressive. Now they're being a little bit shovey. They're not like taking like pitchforks, but they are kind of like pushing him a little and being like, look at you chubby little.
It's darker than black.
What does that mean?
And I've heard people commonly say that. Jesus called it the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, meaning like just.
Oh, okay. Math.
It's
that explains it.
I don't know. I guess just horrific, and that's what he experienced. And so he finally realizes he's being deceived by these creatures that he couldn't fully.
He was like, "Oh my God! I ran a deception check, and they passed." Oh. I hate it when that happens.
See completely, because they were kind of veiled, but now it's dark and he can't see them, but he can feel them, and they start.
But they were darker than dark anyway. So Where are we anyway? We're just apparently floating. Once again, we're not alive. We are dead. A man who wasn't resuscitated, because once again, he came and talked and told him the story. But okay.
Start to maul him. He starts to try to fight.
Now they're starting to beat up on him after they teased him and called him a sissy. Now.
To get away, and they're having fun.
Once again, equally sounding like a bar, but let's keep on going.
So I've had him talk to me about this 4 times, and he starts to describe it.
I don't know
then
why.
He says to me, I can't go any farther because he had PTSD from it.
All right, let me just put out there. Probably offensive to people who have actual PTSD. But I get it. You can have like dreams that are horrible. You can have hallucinations and bad drug experiences and all sorts of things that mentally scar you. That doesn't mean that the mushrooms that came to attack you while you're hallucinating were real.
Every single time
and
you interviewed him, he couldn't push past.
Yeah, he can't. There's a certain point that he would say,
time.
I can't go any farther because it's taken me a long time.
I've been making this up for so long.
And I never made that rest up.
And look, we can't tell intent. Maybe he really did have this. Who the hell knows? Pun intended. But it just want to point out he was not dead. That's all I want to keep on saying.
He had what, vets would call PTSD because it's real. It's
no, bad. That is the point. It's not real.
More real than this.
More real.
That's a
whoa. I'm sorry. I'm going to let the kid out. But more real than this? No, it's not.
Very important point to note that what's ahead is better than the best we've experienced, but what's ahead is worse than the worst we've experienced too.
I also want to point out that wasn't the worst you've experienced. I feel like a lot of girls, and unfortunately men as well, have just experienced that from a drunk guy just basically trying to hit on them and get rowdy after they say no. But yeah, I mean, I guess that could have been you dying as well. Equally scary situations.
And I believe that we are in a temporal, time capsule.
What are we in,
for
Star
a
Trek?
purpose. We are in a time of choosing.
We are what?
We're in a time of choosing. What kingdom do we want to be a part of? Is it me and my kingdom and I
want to be part of the animal kingdom, which we are. Trying to think of another joke. That's all I got. Kingdom come.
I rule, because as it turns out, that's what hell is. Hell is the creature wanting to play God.
Hell is the creature wanting to play God. What if I want to play God in Halo and I actually want to be cooperative? Am I still evil even though I want to play with God? Does that mean just God is just antisocial because he doesn't want to play multiplayer games? What if we want to play an MMO? All of a sudden, God's not going to be a healer? I know, that's not fair. He just wants to play with cheats. Oh, it's not cheating because it's God. Yeah. He gets, circumvented by humans and other animals all the time. I don't even understand. And he sees, bad snake, bad. I know. I have to teach him better manners.
And it's dominate or be dominated.
Kinky, first of all. What were we talking about?
And that's what Howard realized in this place.
And he was like, listen, these people that I'm talking to while I'm dead are either going to dominate me or I'm going to need to dominate them. And this is where his fan fiction Wikipedia opened up.
It was really interesting because he said, first of all, picture the worst prison scene. Like the worst.
Okay. I can't appreciate this. Do you remember this? Have you seen this? Because This is the Flavelid Yard, so I'm gonna push it back just a second because I can't. Okay, let's just enjoy it.
Picture the worst prison scene. Like the worst. Years ago I saw a movie Midnight Express. You ever see that?
No, I haven't.
Turkish prison, you know, just getting brutalized and raped daily and all kinds of. It's a pretty gruesome movie. That's what was going on.
In hell.
And so
also, can I just point out that wasn't we were talking more about guys just pushing you, and now, once again, James, here we go. It's the old. We have to Godwin's law. You know, Hitler is down there in a French maid's outfit.
Yeah.
A big old pineapple.
And just being eviscerated. And what he said, several things he said that was interesting. He said, you know, I realized that these people were my kindred spirit.
James, I found Satan. Did you find Satan? He's been lurking the entire time. Holy moly. Dun, dun, dun.
Red Stag liquor.
Hold on. Yes, let me just put this, just connecting my dots. I knew it. This guy, maybe this guy's the Antichrist, James. You never know.
I mean,
it's a nonsense
concept. I'll say something about global warming, right?
So what do you mean? So I realized that they were like me on Earth. I came to a point in my life when I thought the biggest, baddest bear in the woods wins, and that's how I lived.
Kind of like God.
And he said I wasn't good to I wasn't nice to my students. I was all about me and building my monuments to myself and my ego. I cheated.
Yeah, you don't need religion to be a decent person. I actually think that religion oftentimes make it harder to be a good person. Sure, you get the easy stuff. And I know it's the big stuff, like don't kill and don't steal. But I don't know how to say this. I feel like at this point we should have gotten that. Your mama should have taught you that. It shouldn't have come from a Bible. But okay.
Cheated on my wife a lot. It was all about me.
Cheated on his wife.
And he said, what I realized is that these people were like me on Earth, but when the good was gone, it just spirals down worse and worse. So he's in this place, and this is really fascinating. He said in his solar plex, because he still was himself. And he said,
yes, because again, he's not dead.
He heard pray to God. And his first thought is, I don't believe in God. And he feels it again, pray to God. And he's like, he's fighting. And this is a very important thing, Shawn, because the ego can imprison us. Our egos can absolutely imprison us.
When we're dead.
And he is literally in a hellish place, experiencing the worst things you can imagine.
He is. I want you to know, he did imply this man is getting fucked right now, right? That was at least.
I believe so.
You know, a lot's going on at once.
And he's hearing this pray to God, but he's fighting it. And finally, the third time, he's like, I don't even know what to pray. I don't, and he starts just saying this like, God,
I love, he just starts singing random stuff. Okay.
Bless America and thy country 'tis of thee. And, he's just piecing things together and he's saying these things. But when he says the name of God, they become more angry and are threatening him even.
Also, I love how demons always get defeated by the super easy stuff. Like you just got to say their name, or you could apparently send emojis to certain preachers. And so I don't know. It just seems like demons aren't what they used to be. We used to have higher quality demons back in the day.
Even more.
Yeah, just take a $100 bill or a stack of $100 bills, preferably, right? Fuck you, Satan, and send it to Bob Larson.
That's right.
Satan on the back. Send it to me.
It's the only way you can get the demon.
It'll really hate Satan. He really, really hates him.
Notice backing off. So he keeps doing it because it's working. And then he ends up just alone there. And he said, for how long, I don't know. He said, time doesn't work the same. It could have been
when you're hallucinating or dreaming. Yeah.
Decades.
Or making shit up. Not going to say he's
on
making
DMT.
shit up. Yes, exactly. On a hallucinogen or dying, a brain that is malfunctioning. Multiple ways that you can have an experience like this without magic.
But he was just thinking about his life.
You know what did I see the other day? That they came up with some Star Trek shit where they're like, they could simulate like 1,000 years of you being in prison in like a couple hours. So they were, because that's what they did in one of the Star Trek episodes. They like, instead of actually them having to be in prison for 30 or 40 years, they just like programmed it so they had all the memories of it, so they felt like they were. But at that point, it's
pretty crazy.
At that point, what I mean, just think about that for a second. You could make someone feel like they spent in prison for 1,000 years, but while on fire and being eaten by alligators the whole time too. I mean, it doesn't actually kill the body, so they can't die, but they can still feel like it.
Indeed. Or at least it is a fun thought experiment to imagine that we could do that. It is not. There's nothing saying a contradiction that it could not be possible.
Yeah.
But yes, we're almost at the end, so we're going to do the last 2 minutes, and then that will be the opposition.
Like Alabama or Mississippi. Yeah.
A little bit. We send love to the South. We did have to shoot the racism
Alabama. Come down
out of them. The
Dinosaur Adventureland. Bring your snake repellent, apparently. You hear some rattling in the bushes. Don't go over to the bushes.
Don't go. James, you just need the good book. You're safe. You're safe from snakes. I don't know what you're talking about.
And he was thinking about, how, again, on the other side, truth is truth. There's no hiding. And he's like, this is who I become. This is what I deserve.
It was almost a Linkin Park.
But at the same time, he didn't want that. And he hears in his soul the song he heard when someone took him to church as a kid, Jesus Loves Me.
Different song.
And he couldn't remember anymore except Jesus Loves Me. Aww. And he had this thought. And he now thinks God was even in that trying to reach him. In this battle he's having in his own spirit, even then. And he finally gets to the end of himself. Oh, we all have to hit rock bottom before we look up.
And right now, again, he's dead. And so I guess this is the rock bottom of his death.
That's a famous recovery principle. Some different people have different rock bottoms, but
his is having some sort of problem, physically falling ill, hallucinating, and then eventually, after a feeling of goodness, there were people teasing him and pushing him, and then eventually going after him. Yeah. Which, once again, James, I've never heard any type of dream or hallucination like that. That's completely original, and this is the first time I've ever heard it.
Of course, Amy's rock bottom might be pulling into, Chevron and only finding stale coffee.
It's true.
You've hit rock bottom. You're drinking stale coffee because that's all that there is.
Stale coffee and no creamer, no sugar. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. At that point, I
might as well rectally infuse it instead of having to drink it.
Once again, I do recommend the anal infusion of espresso. It is the best way to wake up in the morning. I'm pretty sure. Probably. Anyway,
So we have to hit rock bottom before we look up. And Howard said to me, my rock bottom was low.
Was it though?
And
you weren't doing anything. You were just dead, apparently. Like, and it was for a medical reason. It wasn't like you cheated on your wife, and as you were sitting there smoking a cigarette, these dark figures came after you. It was like your body was about to die for medical reasons, and you're like, oh, I'm a scumbag. Yeah, okay. But that doesn't really get you appendicitis or whatever it is that you have.
Whatever random
he cries out.
Yes.
You know, he thinks to himself, even if Jesus does exist, why would he care about me?
Aww.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, Gizmo. Why would Jesus, a first century rabbi who's been dead for 2,000 years, reigning in heaven, personally care about insert?
And this is why, like, the fact that Christianity is so ubiquitous, it's so all over, it's so everybody knows about Jesus and he loves you, and
he wants to cuddle, basically.
And the thing is like, okay, so why was this person having this, like, what would make somebody who's an atheist have a like vision of hell? It's because we all know that we're under the constant threat from the
we know
Christians
God's real
of hell. Well, we even if we don't know that, we still know that they're threatening us with that, and that they say, "Oh yeah, when you die, you'll see," and we all have that threat hanging over our heads, and you know, most of us, we rationalize past it that it's illogical. It's not.
Did you know God is a complaint department?
Yeah, it's not rational to fear it because anybody can threaten anything. There's still no evidence, no good reason to believe that it's true, but we still hear it. We still integrate it and have to consider it. You know, because it's ubiquitous throughout our culture.
Indeed, they just kind of say, "Hey, it's a norm within our society because so many people are this religion. That means it must be true." No, that means that a spiritual religious leader was either lying to you or lying to your parents. And I say lie because I'm sure there are people out there that believe it, but it is wrong. They are not true. There was no Adam and Eve. I feel well in saying these statements because we know how human evolution came about. And it wasn't
Adam and Steve. That's what she wants
right.
to talk to.
Yes, very specifically, we know how humans came about. It was Adam and Steve. They had the very first butt sex. Can I show you something? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh goddess, we're so
Everybody's
close to the
excited.
end
Like,
of the video.
We're going to see it now. She's going to show you guys.
Oh my god, I do. I interrupt this. See, it's at the very end of the episode. And yet, okay, I just want to show you this, all right? Because this is freaking hilarious. I just can't help it, all right? Now, the John Oliver TV show created something called Opposite Snakes. They created a website because they have a episode criticizing Modi, the leader of India, and their episodes have been blocked in India. And so they created a website called Opposite Snakes in which their episode will be played on here whenever you would like. If you'd like to know what an opposite snake is, this is an opposite snake. Very specifically, it is only a butt and hands and limbs here, as you can see. But the best part about this, besides the actual video of the movie about India's economy in here, but my favorite is just the facts about opposite snakes, and I have 3 that really stand out, but who knows which will be your favorite. But cute, their babies are born with a full set of prejudices. What? Ouch! In opposite snakes bite, while not poisonous, is humiliating. Oh. Zoom. They travel an average of 22 miles an hour, but can move about 45 miles per hour for food shelter. That one last score. I love glove. Did you know if you completely submerge them in water, the scientific community will give you a medal? Why that one makes me laugh so much. Teamwork. Their communities have a surprisingly sophisticated sewage and waste removal system that they ignore in favor of shitting everywhere. As you do. Stubborn. The opposite snakes are famously the only animal that refused to get on Noah's Ark and lived anyway. Fuck you, God. Somehow, James, it comes back to relevancy about the episode, even when we're going completely
always.
We have our own, I don't know what our own laws. Damn. Opposite snakes actually migrate whenever an area gets too woke. Oh. Wow. The very first opposite snake ever encountered in the wild was a total prick. Oh, I knew it. Cool. An opposite snake can live up to almost 3 days without drinking vodka. Yikes. PETA has never advocated for protection for opposite snakes. Wow. I'm going to leave them out. Still my favorite. Amazing. They are one of the only animals that can owe other animals money. Don't know why that is funny to me. And no way. They were used as an inspiration for face hugger creatures from Alien and are also Pete Campbell from Mad Men. But yes, now you know about opposite snakes, everything that we do, as well as if you really wanted to, a totally relevant video about the Indian economy. Anyway, let's come into the end of What Does Hell Look Like. It has been fun.
Actually,
James, we have to take the subject seriously.
Books of Hell. He just said it was darker than dark. We didn't really get
darker than dark, which is
descriptions,
both how I like my chocolate and my men. Anyway, what were we talking about?
He didn't tell us anything really about what the demons looked like. It was too dark to see.
It was.
So
I don't even know what that means.
Give us any information? Oh, just that he said Jesus and they backed away because he couldn't see him backing away, but it felt like they were backing away from him.
It felt like they were. They were also being mean girls for a little bit. Like they started with him and just basically
him and clawing at him and biting him.
And then everything escalated because he was kind of being a bitch about it, I guess. But yeah. James, I hate it when you're dead and then like a bunch of people come over and they're like, wow, you put a lot of effort into what you're wearing today. Hate it when that happens.
I've been so horrible. But in desperation, he just cried out, Jesus, save me.
Jesus, save it.
And he said, into this darkness, he sees a speck of light coming, getting brighter and brighter and brighter, till again he described.
And he noticed that it was just Liberace. I can't even say it. I'll just go with Elton John. He noticed Liberace. It was a prominent game. Liberace, thank you.
It was brighter than the sun, but he could look at it, and it was mesmerizing, and arms reach out, pick him up, take him out of there. And he's then standing before these angels being held by Jesus, and he gives them a life review. No matter where you're...
Okay. Very end. Did you notice anyone figure out how he came back to life? It was implied it was Jesus. We all know that's not what happened, right? Like, he said he wasn't resuscitated, and then at the very end, Jesus. And so, no.
Yeah. I think he left part of the story out, but yeah, not in this retelling of it.
Anyway, that was what hell looks like. Apparently, it's a bunch of... It's basically high school or a bar. Wonderful. James, Are you scared of hell now?
I'm gonna be all up awake all night thinking about it, and because I mean, any of us could go at any time. We could have a heart attack anything could kill you at any time. I mean, you never know. Healthy people just drop dead out of a stroke for no reason. It does happen. You could be walking by, and a rattlesnake come out of the foliage and bite you.
Just bite you in the where.
Yeah,
you never know.
Could.
Can I ask?
In the girl deck.
If he got bit in that place, would you have to suck the poison out of there? I feel like you'd have to ask an intern. That's got to suck to have that job. I feel like you'd have to ask Matt. He's gone now.
You could, but you would have to fly Matt Powell in.
You'd have to fly Matt Powell.
To do it.
That is a Matt Powell type of job.
It'd be like getting bit by, like, if they, like when somebody illegally brings over like one of those exotic cobras, and we don't have them here, so we don't keep anti-venom here normally. So if somebody gets bit by them, they have to fly the anti-venom in from overseas.
We would have to fly the Matt Powell in directly just to suck that baby out of there.
I wonder if you could take Matt Powell's semen and make anti-venom out of that. Make like anti-Christian anti-venom.
You can. I'm pretty sure.
And then if you drink that, it'll immunize you from Christianity.
I learned that from one of Kent's wives. I'm not sure which one.
Oh,
I kid. Because they actually, they almost always end up turning on him. Not number 5, of course, or whichever number he's on, but 1, 2, 3, and 4.
A few years of guzzling Kent's cum is about all that one can take, huh?
Once again, probably had lots of interns. You know what? I always like, he has a slogan, Dinosaur Adventureland. Not all of the kids who go to our lake die. It's a fantastic slogan. Pretty sure that's it. That was their new one, maybe. I like their new website for their YouTube channel. Welcome to Kethoven podcast. Not all of our subscribers are bought, just most of them. But yes,
Kethoven official. It's not official. It's Kethoven official.
That's right. But we are going to open up the internet phone lines. We end up talking for most of our Skeptic and Rants. We got to do more midnight rantings. I feel bad. We would have went live yesterday. I have to get back into my. I always start headstrong at like 4 p.m. Like I am ready. I am midnight ready. And then now I get ready like an old woman now. Though I know if I can take a nap.
Like 10, 11 o'clock, you start to.
I do. It's so sad. But I know some people that it's not that you're a morning or a day person. It's just that we're habit people. And it's when you get sleep. You need sleep. It's just. And so I end up taking a nap.
Rhythm. Yeah.
And what I could do is next year when we start doing this, if we ever wanted to go a little bit later, I just need to come home and take a nap right away, and then I can. We're gonna make it work, and we'll set up things during the summer, and that way we can just find rhythms and keep on doing it forever. But yes. It's up on there. I'm going to start the clock. We'll give a few minutes, basically. And if no one joins, we're really looking for people who disagree with us. We love the people that agree. But if you disagree, right down there, StreamYard.com. The theists have been running away lately. We had none of your business last time. He seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like he was prospecting me for money. Always a nice time. But he also was prospecting Jesus. So, James, it's always good when you're both trying to be bought as a human being and trying to be introduced to your Lord and Savior. I feel like it's a great just mixture. What's up, man, computer scientist? But if not, I'm going to end up sending us over to, let's see, is anybody live? I don't know if anyone's live right now. Lots of great
Have you heard
shows.
stories like this, near-death stories like this before? I think we all kind of have at one point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I hear, I've heard them in different directions with different religions, and I get it. You know, I've heard out-of-body experiences and stuff like that. I've never had one. I've lucid dreamed and things like that. But as a partaker of many hallucinogens, and as someone who's had dreams like that, I just find that there's more valid, sound, likely explanations than he went to a magical realm as he temporarily died and got saved by Jesus, when most likely it was clear and a doctor bringing him back to life.
Mostly. But I mean, you could go either way. Right? You never know.
I do sexually. What are we talking about?
Right.
But I mean, you know, I know they're powerful to some people. They're not powerful to myself, just like prophecy is not that powerful. It's another. We want empirical data, and if you could have those near-death experiences in a testable format, I don't know what type of, it sounds like it'd be dangerous, but if you could figure out a double-blind study, I know there have been people who have actually tested it and have found zero data to support it. So near-death experiences.
I think it's kind of hard because, the experience that the person is having, for one, is so subjective, and the soul is not even real. So how can you say their soul is somewhere else? It's so wrapped up in the mythology. It's hard to really even quantify it to be testable. Which is really what they want. They know they're not going to be able to prove it. They just want to make it really hard to falsify. So you can't objectively say it didn't happen or it's conclusively not real.
Well, if it's a personal experience and it only happened once, it's very hard to probe it. All we have is our Socratic method. But I mean, I can imagine myself having these. Yeah, exactly.
Look, if it's not even consistent, it doesn't even make sense. Well, I mean, then you kind of.
That's interesting, Sven. You say you believe in a positive afterlife, so no thoughts on hell. Well, I like that concept more. I don't think it's any truer. However, I think that at least is a nicer system, because I find that the way that they bring about judgment can only lead to innocent people being tortured. And I know in their eyes they're not innocent because they have sinned. But from my viewpoint, it's just that they lost the game. They lost the game to the rules that God had only vaguely explained, and you lost, and now you're going to be burned and tortured forever. Now, I have some people that tell me that hell is actually just separation from God, which I believe that's what's going to happen.
But they also say that Amy, like, no matter how bad the fires are in hell and all the terrible things that are happening, by far, the worst torment of hell is that separation from God. That will be worse than anything else. Is the separate. So even if they took away all the fire and all the demons and you were just separated from God, that would still be completely horrible. The worst than you could possibly imagine.
There's also a hell.
That's just the cherry on top. That's just icing on the cake.
There is actually a version of hell where they're only playing a cappella music and everyone is off key.
Oh my God.
But I think on that note, let me tell you, those are the puns that you find here, ladies and gentlemen. we are probably going to get ready to head out. It has been we now all know what hell is like. It's mean girls.
Not real. Oh.
No, that, yes, that as well. And except it gets a little bit violent at the end. So adult mean girls. Which I think we call prison. And yeah. With that, I hope that we all had a fun time. James, anything else before we head out?
Well, Sven, that's just what I've been told. That's the apologists, like the Catholic theologians that would pontificate on the issue. They would say that that the worst torment of hell is separation from God itself. It's far worse than any of the physical ailments that'll befall you in hell. That's just what they say. I don't believe it exists, but
it's like not getting a rose, James. That's actually the most painful for us, is that we didn't get one.
Because Jesus, he does say weeping and gnashing of teeth, so there's got to be some type of sorrow or some type of pain, or be it physical, mental, a longing, there's something negative about it.
Some sort of dental issues going on for some apparent reason.
Toothache, and Wesley hasn't healed your tooth yet. So
poor Wesley. Every Thanksgiving. Listen, the bombs, they're coming. Now, who wants turkey?
Now, they put mini nukes in all the turkeys. Run!
Oh, and that's what I heard that. Spooky, congratulations. 200 subs is big. First of all, 100 subs, I always find that's the big. So the fact that you passed that, I know they give everyone a URL, but it means you're starting to build a community. Is it at your channel? Is it at this one right here? Can I get to it? Let's see. You can go boo-boo-doo, go to channel. I'm going to get it. There it is. I found it. Here we go, ladies and gents. 211. Did you know that 7-Eleven was a part-time job? It's a shame that it's full-time now, and that jet fuel cannot melt Slurpees. I'm so sorry. I love those jokes so much. No, I can't. Fucking conspiracy theorist. Sending so much love to Spooky. You should all go join his channel. Let's get him up to 1,000, y'all. Because that's where you can get monetized.
You have 6 people watching on X.
Oh, that's what I told you, James. You're like, why are you so surprised? Because there's actually a decent hello people on X, hello people on YouTube, on Twitch, on everybody, on everywhere. We're just having a good time in the Skeptic Ranting community. But yes, with that, James, I think we are going to head out. Yes. I'm actually going to pin his thing. That's going to be our final message. But I hope you all had a fun time on this Skeptic and Ranting. What does hell look like? Where we watched a video from the channel Shawn Ryan Clips. That's what I mean. There's always such. It's like, what is also irritating in like a country that has a lot of money, unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of different, just made up problems, basically. Called What Does Hell Look Like, where James and I really didn't get a good look at that. Neither did you, I don't think. Did we? It was just one guy, and it's always he used to be an atheist, but then in death he found Jesus pulled him out of the hole, James. He got some sort of ailment, and it was Jesus that did the hard work. That's how they at least tried to sell it at the end.
He would have liked to go back in the hole, but
yes,
that wasn't an option.
But it was he didn't give enough.
You're out.
Here's the problem, James. If you don't give enough glory to the hole, you can't really get on your knees and give service to Jesus. Do you know what I mean?
252. What's the other?
I think so. Call now. 1-800. Get on your knees for Jesus. Where we had a hellish good time. I do want to thank my co-host James W. along with all of the fantastic people out there on the interwebs, like the people in chat, mwah, mwah, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I said it. You don't have to whip them like that anymore. And then you can share.
Thanks,
Sunny
Command
share.
Cyborg.
Yay! Boom, boom, boom. And I really am coming up with more emojis. They're hard because I try to think what's funny at like a really small format. If any of you have ideas, by the way, feel free to just send them into the chatosphere. James and myself, we do read them, leave them as comments if you want as well. And I'll, if they make me chuckle, then I think that there's a chance they'll make other people chuckle and they'll become emojis because we got some emoji space, baby. We do. Thank you, TOS. I always like to in low ball just lick the corporate heel because there's so many channels out there like YouTube is being mean to me. I said that vaccines make you gay and then they banned my channel, or they put a warning at the bottom, an advertiser's crest doesn't want to be on my vaccines turned me gay video. Wow, what a surprise.
Link an article to Wikipedia saying that my flat earth is nonsense.
That's the other thing. Presuppositionalists and assholes and flat earthers are weirdly assholes. I want to have empathy. The guy who made the birds don't exist joke conspiracy said that was the one thing he found out in going throughout all this conspiracy research is they all have the same thing, which is they feel like society basically picks on them and shames them and looks down on them. And I get it because, the beliefs you have, but it does suck that people are mean to you. So the next time you hear someone say crazy
Get a better
beliefs,
belief system.
Exactly. But the next time you hear someone say something crazy, just pull back into Socrates schlong and just ask him a few questions instead. Just use that methodology and calmly ask questions that gently put your worldview into them anyway. And you'll either sound silly yourself because maybe he'll have good answers, or just let him hear the silliness out loud. Anyway, what were we saying? Boo-doo-doo-doo. Sunny, share. Feel free to leave a comment after. Thank you to everyone for super chats, like Sinister and sending love to Command Cyborg, including all of our channel members out there, which you can join and become a member with, and you'll get our evolving badge system that you just get increasing awesome technology badge the longer you've been a member, because things do evolve. They don't evolve like our badge system or Pokemon. That is how that's the Pokemon evolution, which that is one way to model it. But no, evolution in biology is successive generations of making sexy time. And then being selected in different environmental pressures or sexual pressures or artificial pressures.
God.
Yeah, or there is the other competing hypothesis. God did it. Yeah, the poof model, very popular in this country, unfortunately.
He spoke it into existence. He spoke and it came to be.
James, we don't understand biology. You have to understand. He made Adam out of clay, spoke him into existence, and then made women out of his rib. What don't you get?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
And then for some reason, where does the fact that we eat meat come from? Because it rained on Noah's Ark. Once again, if you think this makes sense, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, before that, even the snakes ate vegetables and fruit.
James, you have no idea exactly. They were.
I mean, could you just imagine a snake curling up to an apple and swallowing it whole? I mean, I can. It makes perfect sense.
Once again, James, What I like about this is that none of this example is phallic. But can you imagine a snake eating a banana? That's what was happening.
Yeah, it fits right inside of him, just like Yeah.
It makes sense, James, if you don't think about it. Once again, these are the dumbest arguments. What? Not to just knock those down, but just to throw them out there. We are related to a banana. Like, if someone ever says, "You think you're related to this?" Yes, that is. I mean, this is the reproductive organ of the plant. So yes, we are related to the banana tree, the plant. But that doesn't mean that I don't know. It's the same thing with the chart. Don't let creationists, dumb people, or at least they're saying dumb things with lots of confidence. We are related to bananas, and snakes can't talk. What can I tell you? But yes, we also send love to, finally, we have our Discord. I'll send it out. Keep on wanting to say and update our Discord into all new ranking system and stuff. Really gonna have to just hire someone. I'm gonna do a whole I want also someone to maybe come in and manage, have Patreon so they can manage our Patreon parties. I want to do a whole bunch of stuff this summer. Anyway, look forward to a whole bunch of more content. I can hear the cat. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to wait. Hold on 1 second. My goodness. What's in, what's out. Brought to you by cats. Patreon.com/Amy Newman. Who doesn't love clickety clack? I'm sending it in there. I am Amy Newman. This is James W. And we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, good day, good morning, as long as you're having a good time. Bye, y'all. Mwah-ha-ha. Oh, sending love to Nick, and I love you all.